9 weeks ago, Yunsan Park came out here, told you that the GAW Academy was his home, and announced GAW Academy Stormchaser. Fast forward 2 months, and you look at how things have changed. Not just for me, not just for him, but for everyone. And I want to take this time to say that Yunsan Park has not been seen or heard from since last week. I don't need to tell you that's not typical of what happens to someone who wins a main event match. I want to say to Yunsan Park, if he's watching, that I apologize for what I did. What you have to understand is the way I feel about this place and listening to how people talk and how people treat me, it got to me, and I saw you, and the anger just boiled up to my skin, and I couldn't do anything about it except lash out. But last week, you showed me how much you care about this place, what you are willing to do, and it changed my mind about you and about anyone else who hasn't overtly talked about what this place means, but I truly believe, I truly mean, that if you consider this place home, I will accept you, we will accept you, we will protect you. This is a home front. You are our family. I will die for my family. And I would like to introduce you now to another man who would lay his life on the line to protect the homestead. Ladies and gentlemen, he is an indie wrestling legend, and he is the newest member of the Hernandez family. He is Lars Nightfall. I want it to be known that if you call this place home, we will stand behind you. If you believe that you belong here, then you do belong here. You have my support. You have Lars's support. Everyone here will lay down their lives to protect the homestead. That's what this place is. That's what this place will always be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to GAW Academy Stormchaser, the place where I feel like just about everything is happening. There is so much to discuss, and we will try to get to all of it throughout this episode. But of course, the most pressing matter at hand is the end of the women's round robin tournament. 6 matches have been completed by the women of the Academy. 1 to go, and there is still a lot of room to move for basically every woman in the standings right now. And for this woman in particular, Caitlin Dunlap has a lot to play for here in her final match. Just her fourth as part of the GAW Academy, and she has made a big impression. But she has never taken on a more talented competitor than she is about to. Yes, GAW Academy Women's Champion Lazara will be half of the first match here on the final week of the women's round robin portion of the Academy Stormchaser tournament. And Lazara is still undefeated in the tournament, but the one blip in her record here, the one stain on her record, is a time limit draw to Catherine Sakamoto last week. So Lazara still sitting at 5-0-1, 13 points, with 2 added on after winning an opening battle royal. So Lazara she controls her own destiny here to become the #1 seed in the Academy Stormchaser tournament in the knockout portion. But she's going up against an extremely talented competitor in Caitlin Dunlap, a woman that Lazara probably doesn't have a lot of film on right now, doesn't have a lot of study, but that's never stopped the Academy Women's Champion before. Lazara, Caitlin Dunlap will open up the show. These two have never fought. This is a first. Caitlin Dunlap still new in the business, trying to go for that spinning kick in the corner. Lazara comes out, Irish whip into the corner, and now Lazara, elbow and an enziguri. That's a move combination made famous by Samoa Joe. Cutter attempt, countered by Caitlin Dunlap, double leg takedown, and now some ground and pound. You can see a significant size difference between these two women. Caitlin Dunlap, of course, has a background in gymnastics, so she has that kind of lean muscle body type. Lazara actually has a background in powerlifting before she got into wrestling. So these two women are about as different as it could possibly get. Lazara goes for the clothesline over the top rope, sends Catherine to the ground. I do want to talk about the debut of Lars Nightfall. This is a guy who is relatively new to the business compared to some of the guys that we've seen come in, but he is no less dangerous. This is a man from Japan. Not much is known about his early life, but he was trained in the gyms of the Royal Army. He is an absolute powerhouse. That is all I can say about him. Some of the most devastating strikes, some of the most impactful power moves that you will ever see, you will see in a Lars Nightfall match. So we could be treated to that hopefully soon. Eddie Hernandez bringing him in to, quote, protect the homestead. And I wouldn't want any protector other than Lars Nightfall, I will tell you that. Caitlin Dunlap now has Lazara up and sticks her down with a pile driver. Caitlin Dunlap pulling out that stuck pile driver. Not very common from her. Jawbreaker now onto Lazara. 2.5 minutes gone in this match, and now Dunlap, look at this. Nice Hurricane Rana from Caitlin Dunlap. And now Dunlap hits her with a superiority. You can see that she's laboring to bring Lazara back into the middle of the ring. She does get her there, and now again works her with the kicks. Lazara down onto her stomach. Dunlap has the hammer lock, lets it go into the other arm, and now a couple knees to the back from Caitlin Dunlap. Dunlap is 2-4 because she took over the 0-3 record of Alex Nolan after Nolan was injured. So Caitlin Dunlap is 2-1 since she's 2-1 herself since joining the competition, and now Lazara, make my fortune. Oh man, that just goes to show you can control an entire match, and Lazara can almost put you away. Caitlin Dunlap kicks out of the Make My Fortune. Wow, and now Dunlap, small package, rolls her up. Dunlap to be the Academy Women's Champion. No, Lazara able to power out of that. Wow, in quick succession, I thought both women had the match won. And now Lazara, a couple big forearms. Dunlap hits the deck and a Pele kick. I mentioned there was a lot to play for Caitlin Dunlap, and there certainly still is. I'll give you a little teaser at the end of the show. We will have something very, very special for the top four. And if Caitlin Dunlap were to win here in this match and Kristen Sakamoto were to lose her match, then Caitlin Dunlap would overtake Kristen and move into the top 4. So she needs a little bit of help, but she can still get there. She'll need a little bit more than she's provided so far, though, as Lazara absolutely drops her with a heavy right hand and then a DDT to the leg. We're coming up on halfway through this match, and Lazara, once again, Lazara sets up Caitlin Dunlap. Make my fortune! Lazara drops her down, and now for the second time, the Academy Women's Champion will go for the cover. No! Caitlin Dunlap. Talk about ingratiating yourself. Lazara going for a third. Make my fortune. Answered with a clothesline. Caitlin Dunlap. Is she gonna shock the world with the cover? Oh my goodness. Caitlin Dunlap has shocked the world. The goddess has pinned the Underground Queen. Wow, that is, talk about a result that I was not expecting. Wow. This is incredible. This is incredible. Caitlin Dunlap. And now she'll be waiting on the results of Kristen Sakamoto. Look at this. That's the end of the match with a heavy clothesline.
Oh, you all an explanation for this. Caitlin, congratulations. I may not like the way that you act, but I have to respect you in the ring. But there is a reason why I wasn't myself today. And it's because of what Eddie Hernandez has said over the last 2 weeks. And it really got me thinking. When I began this tournament, my goal was, as every other woman's was, to win it, to go to GAW, to compete on Wednesday Night Storm every week. But listening to Eddie, what Eddie has said, it's not anymore. I don't want to leave. This place is my home. And I will not be told by anyone, not the commentator, not Kenny Omega, not Casey Catanzaro, that my goal is to move up. It's not up. My goal is to stay home. And so I've lost my focus. I don't know exactly what I want from my wrestling career, but I know this. I want to stay here. This is my home and I will stay. This is my family. And Eddie's absolutely right. If you're here, if you are our family, my job, my duty is to take care of you and protect you. And that's all I can tell you for now. Wow. What can I say? Eddie Hernandez has clearly made a huge impact with his words. He's obviously inspired a lot of people, and should I say lit a fire under them? I mean, Lazara just lost, so there is that. But certainly, I've never heard anyone talk this way about the Academy before. So Eddie Hernandez, I think, has made a pretty big impact with what he said and the way that he's seemingly changing perceptions. That being said, Eddie Hernandez certainly has an opportunity
to make a big impact in the ring as well, as he goes up against the current GAW Academy champion, Garrett Gibson. I'm thinking about a video that we're about to show you of Kurt Andrews, who beat Garrett Gibson last week in the Stormchaser tournament. So not the greatest start to Gibson's championship run, but he certainly remains one of the premier competitors in the academy. So for Eddie Hernandez to have a go at him here, this is going to be fun. I mentioned that we were going to show you this video from Kurt Andrews, and we will. This is the Buccaneer, just a couple days after he beat the Academy champion Garrett Gibson last week in the Stormchaser tournament. I beat Garrett Gibson last week, and history's pretty clear about this. You beat the champ, you get a match. And I will have my match, but not yet. You see, I respect Garrett Gibson, I respect what he's done, and I respect this tournament. I respect the Academy as a whole. So I will not take that championship match yet. I will wait for the end of the tournament. But Garrett, just so you know, mate, I'm here for you. I am a champion, I am one of the greatest champions, and I am coming for you. So Kurt Andrews there saying that he will not challenge Gibson for the Academy Championship as long as the Stormchaser tournament is still going on. So that's some big news. I was certainly expecting him to do that, actually. Hernandez now dropping the champ with a big-time power bomb. But certainly the story between Buccaneer Kurt Andrews and Garrett Gibson is going to be one to follow. Kurt Andrews has a real opportunity to go undefeated in the Stormchaser tournament. Wow, Hernandez with a big-time discus knee strike. Andrews currently sitting at 7-0 with 14 points, same as Eddie Hernandez. Now Hernandez going for the cover. Garrett Gibson kicks out at 2. Hernandez, Andrews, and Gibson are all jammed up with 14 points. Currently, Hernandez and Andrews have the tiebreaker with their 7-0 record. Andrews has already beaten Gibson, so now Hernandez gets his turn, but Hernandez involved in a little bit more than what Andrews has been doing with everything that's gone on with Yunsan Park and apparently the rapidly changing perception of the GAW Academy itself. Look at this, Garrett Gibson going for a homegrown Texas jab. But you can see how much Gibson has been beat up. Has to drop to a knee there to catch his breath. That might give Hernandez some time as Gibson drags him into the middle of the ring, hooks the leg, and yes, Hernandez does kick out at 2. Garrett Gibson from the corner could be lining up the All-American clothesline. Hernandez ducks. Chopper ducked the clothesline, and now a big forearm from the wrist lock, and now Hernandez with a side Uranagi plants the champ, leg hooked. Gibson kicks out. That, of course, very reminiscent of Matt Hardy's side effect. Former Intercontinental Champion, former Alpha Associate Matt Hardy. Garrett Gibson now with the knee on the back of Hernandez, wrenching back with this single leg camel clutch. Hernandez able to use his quickness to get out of it. Hernandez is deceptively quick for his size. You wouldn't necessarily expect it. Gibson, though, drops him down with a big-time power bomb. Hernandez, kip up into the head scissors. Well done from Chopper, and now Eddie Hernandez perched on the middle rope. Hernandez with a big splash to the lower back of Garrett Gibson. And Eddie Hernandez now ascending to the top rope. The High Red District, as some may call it, drive-by. And Garrett Gibson got his knees up. That very well could have ended the match right there, but Hernandez still in it. Got to pay attention, though, to Garrett Gibson's All-American clothesline. It can get you at any time. And now, Eddie Hernandez bringing him back into the ring the hard way. Hernandez uses the bottom rope as leverage for a big-time superplex, and then went for the running knee that he's used to put men away in the past. Garrett Gibson able to catch it, and Gibson now brings Hernandez into position. I believe he was looking for Sweet Tea pile driver. Hernandez over the top of the sunset, high stack, and Eddie Hernandez upsets the champion. It is all turning up roses for Eddie Hernandez. What a tremendous match fought by these men. One of the best 6-minute matches you will ever see. Both men avoiding the catastrophic move from the other. Hernandez ducks the All-American clothesline. Garrett Gibson gets his knees up for the drive-by. Hernandez spiked Gibson with a superplex, using that first rope as leverage. It's a move we actually saw Flyboy use, I believe, to beat Leiter a few weeks ago. So it's a dangerous move. But at the end of the day, it was the deceptive quickness that I alluded to. Here is Garrett Gibson setting up for the Sweet Tea, and now Gibson arguing with the ref about how quick that count was, but it looked fair to me, I gotta say. And Eddie Hernandez picks up a win, advances him to 8-0, and we have a very, very complex picture right now when you talk about the top of the GAW Academy Championship picture. Coming up next, though, Oliver Parker, the man currently sitting in first, takes on the aforementioned Flyboy. The Oni King, Oliver Parker, has quietly become the biggest threat that exists currently in the GAW Academy. For all of the talk about Garrett Gibson and Scott Danielson to begin with, for all the talk about Kurt Andrews and how big of a run he's been on, and now lately talking about Eddie Hernandez and how much he is changing the game, quietly Oliver Parker has put together an absolutely stellar tournament. And it's my fault for not showing him enough. Well, we're getting a good look at him tonight as he tries to consolidate his first place position with a dangerous match against the always athletic and exciting Flyboy. Flyboy, a former U.S. Naval Anglico. So, of course, we like to thank him for his service to our country. He is currently part of an absolute logjam in the standings right now. 5 guys currently sitting with 10 points. He has an opportunity to really put his name on the map with a win here over the Oni King. Oliver Parker is 6-1. His 15 points currently sits him atop the standings. He has 2 extra points from an opening battle royal that he won all the way back in episode 1, and since then we just haven't heard that much about him, and again I will take full responsibility for that. This man has become maybe the best wrestler that the GAW Academy has to offer in terms of his in-ring ability. Irish Rip reversed by Flyboy. Oliver Parker goes over the top and hits him with the spinning drop kick. Oliver Parker can do it all. His strength is belied by his size, but he has the athleticism to match. You can see a bit of his strength here, easily tossing around the 205-pound Flyboy. And Parker stalking his prey, now takes the back end. Parker, knee and a clothesline combination. Oh man, Parker has Flyboy flattened early on. Flyboy kicks out at 1. There is a whole lot going on here at the top of the Stormchaser tournament right now. When you talk about Eddie Hernandez, who just pulled off a shocking win over the new champion, Garrett Gibson. Kurt Andrews, who already has a win over Gibson. So Hernandez moving to 8-0. Oliver Parker, if he loses here, the floodgates open. But that is a big if, as Parker has Flyboy into an air raid crash neck breaker. It almost seems like Flyboy just is not, he's just not equipped to deal with the unique combination of power and speed that Oliver Parker brings to the equation. Parker going for the cover off of the stomps, and Flyboy able to kick out, but each kick out for Flyboy is getting more and more difficult. And now Oliver Parker has the wrist lock into the top wrist lock, brings Flyboy down to his knees, but Flyboy able to get a few gut punches in there and frees himself from the hold. Flyboy now has the leg, and Flyboy drops him down with a single leg Michinoku driver. And now the former Anglico looking for the Flyboy bomb. Oliver Parker out of the way of that one. May not be out of the woods yet, though. Flyboy is incredibly athletic, and you can see it right there. Sidesteps and then backflips away from the strike. Oh, man. Flyboy Irish whips him over in a big drop kick. Parker up, eats another one. Lariat ducked and Flyboy into the neck breaker. What a sequence. I told you how dangerous Flyboy is and how quickly he can turn the tide of a match. One of the best athletes we have here. And now he will showcase it once again with a DDT through the middle ropes. You can hear the fans absolutely loving it. It didn't look like this was going to be much of a match early on, but Flyboy has made it so. Arm trap Falcon Arrow countered by Flyboy, and now tosses the Oni King back into the ring. And this would be the opportunity. Flyboy, it's been a day of upsets so far. Flyboy from up top. Wow, that was a bit of an awkward landing, I'm not gonna lie. But it did its job. Oliver Parker is down on the mat. Flyboy, a slight miscalculation, but he was still able to land, and now into the middle of the ring goes Oliver Parker, who's able to kick out at 2. Flyboy into the side headlock. You can see that landing off of that top rope move has really affected both men, and so Flyboy now just trying to regain his bearings here. Releases the side headlock, goes for the drop kick. Parker out of the way. Strike, staggers Flyboy, and now a backbreaker. Parker has him up, drops him with a stun gun under the top rope. Flyboy has an amateur wrestling background, much like Oliver Parker, a former NCAA Division I All-American when he was at the Air Force Academy. Pele kick from Oliver Parker. Brings Flyboy back to his feet, and Parker now with the Brave Gate. A reference to the championship he won in Dragon Gate, and now goes for the cover, and Oliver Parker has beaten Flyboy. Parker remains alone atop the standings. 7-1, 17 points for the Oni King. And with all the drama surrounding Garrett Gibson, Eddie Hernandez, and Kurt Andrews, Oliver Parker has slowly and methodically painted himself as the ultimate challenger in the Stormchaser tournament with just 2 matches to go. What a win for Oliver Parker, and what a win for all of us here as we get to watch these 2 men do battle for the better part of 7 minutes. This is what the GAW Academy is about. Short and sweet matches packed with so much entertainment, so much that you just cannot miss, just like every week is here on GAW Academy Stormchaser. Folks, we do have more to come in this show, including the conclusion of the women's round robin. But before we get to that, we will tell you the results of the other two women's matches that we will not see tonight. We already saw Caitlyn pull off the upset of the year over Academy champion Lazara, and I mentioned that Caitlyn has a lot to play for depending on the results of Kristen Sakamoto and Katana. Well, talk about another upset. Katana takes down Kristen Sakamoto. That's Katana's first win, and that moves Caitlyn Dunlap now into fourth place, and we will get more to what the top four are actually going to get in the main event of tonight's show. Elsewhere, Suzuki takes down Martina Del Sol. Coming up next, folks, the final match of the women's round robin tournament, and it is so fitting. Yamamoto and Catherine Sakamoto. Folks, this is a match of Herculean proportions when it comes to the implications that it has for the women's side of the Stormchaser tournament and for the budding rivalry between these two competitors, Catherine Sakamoto and Yamamoto. This will not be the first time that they faced off. And since their number one contenders match a couple weeks ago, a whole lot has happened to both women. These are two women who have been lauded for years, but Catherine has taken a major exception to Yamamoto and the way that she's been treated, the way that she has been spoken of, the way that she has been just absolutely fawned over, and with good reason, I should say. Yamamoto being christened the future of wrestling by the legend Kazuchika Okada. This match, oh man, a lot rides on this match. So right now as it stands, this is the final match of the Women's Stormchaser tournament. Lazara still sits in first with a 3-point lead, but that is not safe, and we will explain why in a couple minutes. As of now, Yamamoto at 5-1 has 11 points. She is 3 points behind Lazara. Catherine at 4-1-1 has 10. She is 1 point behind Yamamoto. Caitlyn Dunlap has pushed Catherine's sister Kristen out of the top four. They are both 3-4 with 10 points, but Caitlyn, since she took over an 0-3 record, that gives her the tiebreaker over Kristen, who has fought 7 matches and went 3-4 in those 7. Caitlyn, on the other hand, has gone 3-1 in the matches that she has fought in. So Caitlyn Dunlap is officially in the top 4, and once again, that will be important, as I will explain later. Now, when it comes to the when it comes to the Academy Women's Champion, that scene is now incredibly complicated. Yamamoto going for the discus clothesline. Catherine able to get out of the way. That whole scene has become incredibly complicated now, with Lazara having lost to Caitlyn Dunlap. Well, Yamamoto is already the official number 1 contender. She won that right in a match against Catherine a couple weeks ago when the women took a 1-week break. Catherine was going once again for that discus clothesline, or Yamamoto was, but Catherine saw it quickly, able to hit her with a shin breaker dragon screw combination. So Yamamoto is the official number 1 contender for Lazara's championship, but now that Dunlap has a win, Caitlyn Dunlap has certainly a right to say that she deserves to be the number 1 contender for Lazara's Academy championship. So, and since Catherine Sakamoto had a draw against Lazara, Catherine Sakamoto has at least an argument to say that she belongs in that picture. So we have a whole lot going on right now in both the Stormchaser tournament and when it comes to the Academy Women's Championship. A whole lot rides on this match, that's for sure. Yamamoto with an excellent judo throw there to Catherine. And now Catherine slowly makes her way to her feet. Yamamoto has the waist lock, but Catherine very quickly saw what was going on, and Catherine with a big German suplex. Yamamoto right back to her feet, and Yamamoto hits Catherine with the air raid crash neck breaker. Yamamoto calling back to Kazuchika Okada, the legend. A man who trained Yamamoto, a man who christened Yamamoto the future of Japanese wrestling just days after Yamamoto's 19th birthday. She is still 19 years old. She has one loss in the GAW Academy. She made her debut in the Stormchaser tournament. We are so excited and blessed to have her here. And she is showing exactly why she is so often cited as the woman who is going to carry women's wrestling for years to come. That is a big reason why Catherine has taken such an exception to the Stormbringer Yamamoto. Catherine, Irish whip off the ropes. Wrist lock, Yamamoto with a big forearm to get rid of that one, but Catherine once again stays on top. Snap suplex from Sakamoto. They call Yamamoto the Stormbringer, and that is pretty accurate when you watch her in her matches. That's pretty much exactly what she does, and now she is looking to bring it to Catherine. Waistlock again, Catherine able to get the go-behind to stop the eventual Rainmaker, and now Catherine rolls Yamamoto into the Legend Killer. The Legend Killer submission, so named for Catherine's legendary MMA career. You can see how much she's cranking back on the knee and ankle of Yamamoto, but the referee actually calls for a break. I'm not sure what he saw. Catherine immediately tries to cover, and Catherine picks up a win. These two now 1-1. Wow, this is quite something. Catherine, Sakamoto, and Yamamoto. Well, right now, Catherine has just overtook Yamamoto for second place, because that leaves Catherine at 5-1-1 with 12 points. Yamamoto 5-2 with 12 points. So Catherine with the Legend Killer submission, which it wasn't even, the referee called for a break, and I'm still not sure what the thinking behind that was. But the referee calls for a break. Catherine, very smartly, thinking on her feet, makes the pinfall, hands Yamamoto just her second loss in the GAW Academy, and it may not be the last of the night. I will explain, but first, we have to get to the men's matches that we have not seen so far tonight, and there are several of them. We begin with Kurt Andrews, I should say. The Buccaneer picks up a win over Tonga, so Andrews remains undefeated. Andrew Wesley, the Bonesaw, gets back on track with a win over Mexican Shia. The new and improved, reinvented Lighter picks up a win over the 400-pound Overload. Scott Danielson, former champion, he's really coming into his own. He beats Jackal. Jackal is still winless since that altercation he had with his friend and mentor, La Tortuga Roja. They still have not spoken in weeks, I am told. Lancelot stays undefeated with a win over Ulysses Sky. He is 4-0 since he joined this tournament. Stefford Drummond gets himself back on track as well with a win over Lee Carr. Let's take a look at the men's standings now. Oliver Parker at 7-1 is still in first place. Eddie Hernandez and Kurt Andrews remain undefeated, so they officially overtake the champion, Garrett Gibson. Both of them sit just behind Oliver Parker with 16 points with 2 matches remaining. Rounding out the top 8, Ulysses Sky and Scott Danielson, and Lancelot making his way into the top 8 for the first time after taking over for the 0-4 La Tortuga Roja. He has gone 4-0. He is maybe the hottest man in the competition right now. Moving on to the bottom, you've got Jackal and Overload and Andrew Wesley all there. Wesley, of course, holds the tiebreaker with his 3-3-2 record. Flyboy also with 11 points. Mexican Shia, Steffer Drummond, both at 2 and 6 with 10. Lee Carr and Tonga bringing up the rear, 1 and 7. They are the only men to not make it into double digits so far. Folks, we have one more match tonight, and it is for basically all the marbles. We will not show you the women's standings. We're going to keep it a surprise because we are very, very pleased to welcome the longtime GAW Women's Champion, Asuka. Next week, she will be here to announce the women's bracket for the Stormchaser Knockout. And we are very, very pleased to have her, so that's coming next week. But the standings are not set. Coming up, the top 4 will compete in a fatal 4-way elimination match. What is it for? Well, it's for 2 points to the winner. And the standings are absolutely log-jammed at the top, so there is a lot still to play for whoever is to win that match. And not only that, the winner will get to face the GAW Women's Champion, Asuka, on Wednesday Night Storm in just a couple days. It is an honor to be in the ring with Asuka and to show your skills to the entire world on Wednesday Night Storm, and that's exactly what these women will be competing for. Folks, our main event is a fatal 4-way elimination match with so much on the line. Let's go. You could not ask for a better scenario right now coming into this elimination match. We've known for a couple weeks that this was going to be the plan ever since Asuka retained her championship at Tidal Wave, but we didn't know how much drama there would actually be surrounding this whole situation that we have going here. I mean, this is unbelievable. Caitlin Dunlap, the first to enter, the woman who beat the champ, beat one of the most unbeatable wrestlers in the academy to earn her spot in this match. And that is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to how much is going on right now. Next to enter here is Yamamoto, coming off a loss that you just saw to Catherine Sakamoto. She sits in third, but she still has an opportunity to work her way up in the standings with a big win here, and she still remains maybe the most fearsome competitor in this match. Meanwhile, on the other side, Catherine Sakamoto coming out looking very, very confident after picking up a win over rival Yamamoto. She currently sits in second. She is still in this thing to take over the first place position in the Stormchaser tournament. So Catherine, everything is on the table for her right now. And of course, we can't forget about the current GAW Women's Academy champion, Lazara, 5-1-1, but coming off one of the most shocking losses of her career to newcomer Caitlin Dunlap. Caitlin reversed the Make My Fortune into a massive lariat, put Lazara down for the count, and then Lazara admitted that she has been torn up about the prospect of potentially leaving the academy should she win the Stormchaser tournament. So Lazara clearly is not in the competitive frame of mind right now. She has admitted as much, but will that affect her performance in this match against the 3 other best women in the academy as it stands? The final women's match of the Stormchaser tournament group stages is right now. Elimination rules here, no time limit. These 4 women, we will need a winner immediately. Catherine was looking for the legend killer on Caitlin Dunlap. She gets out of the way of that one. Lazara has Yamamoto into an airplane spin face breaker. No countouts in this match either, I might add, as Catherine and Caitlyn move their way to the outside, and Lazara goes up top. Lazara looking for the never look back. The shooting star press, but Yamamoto got the knees up. Now into the corner goes Lazara. Caitlyn with a big DDT onto Catherine on the outside. I think it's no secret why Catherine has gone straight for the goddess Caitlyn Dunlap, beyond the fact that Caitlyn has not really ingratiated herself very well to many of the women in the academy, but Caitlyn took Catherine's sister out of this match. Caitlyn shockingly upset Lazara, and now Lazara could be in trouble again. Rainmaker! Rainmaker to the champ. Yamamoto, leg hooked, and Lazara's out! Lazara's out! Yamamoto flattens the champ with a Rainmaker. And Lazara, there is no doubt that Lazara is not right. Caitlyn comes out with the DDG, drop dead gorgeous, and Catherine's out. Somehow, Caitlyn Dunlap and Yamamoto are the final two women in this match. What a frenetic affair this is. What's on the line right now? 2 points and an opportunity to fight one of the greatest champions there's ever been. The winner will get a match against GAW Women's Champion Asuka on the next episode of Wednesday Night Storm. Caitlyn Dunlap, sunset flip, high stack, Caitlyn Dunlap, no! We saw Eddie Hernandez get a win earlier in the show with that. Yamamoto flying forearm, kip up, drops Caitlyn over the knee, and now a beautiful scoop slam from the 19-year-old. Yamamoto, discus clothesline countered by Dunlap. But Yamamoto, nice single leg takedown and attacks the knee. Caitlyn has shocked everyone by pinning Lazara and Catherine Sakamoto in one night. Talk about a star-making performance. Of course, the mental state of Lazara needs to be mentioned. The fact that she has admitted that she is not in the right frame of mind. But look at this, Yamamoto drops Caitlyn Dunlap with the bow before me, Caitlyn's own move. Both women on their back, but Lazara crawls over, hooks the leg, shoots the half, makes the cover. Caitlyn able to kick her way out of that one. Yamamoto sometimes likes to remind everyone, hang on, what's Caitlyn doing? Caitlyn's looking for a brass knuckle shot to Yamamoto. Yamamoto able to duck it. Dunlap, she's got him on again, but Yamamoto catches it. Dunlap, couple strikes to the face. And now Caitlyn Dunlap, boot to the gut, neck breaker, but that's a much better alternative than the brass knuckles that she was putting on, and nearly flattened Yamamoto with. And now Caitlyn again, DDG! DDG, Caitlyn, 2, 3. Oh, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. Caitlyn Dunlap in one night pins Lazara, Catherine Sakamoto, and Yamamoto. This, frankly, is one of the most amazing things I have ever seen. Caitlyn Dunlap. And folks, I have one more thing to share with you that we were saving for the end of the match. You see, the 2 points that you earn from winning this match, it doesn't just add 2. It also gives you an automatic tiebreaker win. Meaning that even though Caitlyn Dunlap is currently sitting at 3 and 4, the 12 points that she now has moves her into second place in the Stormchaser tournament. And next week, the women's champion Asuka will be here to reveal the bracket. Make sure you watch the next episode of Wednesday Night Storm as Caitlin Dunlap will take on the women's champion, Asuka. And folks, I need to lie down, and I'm sure you do too. What a night for the GAW Academy. Thank you so much. Subscribe. We appreciate you.